I have another announcement to make sure everyone knows about, which may come as a surprise. Um, I have had the pleasure of being in education now for over 25 years. And in those 25 years, I reached out to a former student of mine today who actually he really saved my father's life. I told people the story before of this. I had the pleasure when I was teaching in Bellingham. It was a junior senior high school. I was able to teach science in grades 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, from life science to biology to physical science to anatomy and physiology to chemistry and to physics. In those times, I was able to teach a student of mine. It was my first year. I got him. His name's Chirayu Patel. Chirayu graduated tops of his class from Bellingham High School. He went on, and he's a doctor today who works over at Mass General Hospital, and he's in his mid to late 30s. Now, Dr. Patel and I, after he graduated from high school, we stayed in touch with each other. You have a student that's in your class and you watch him grow from 7th grade all the way through 12th grade. So he and I actually would meet up for a lunch here and there. We would email each other, and he'd keep me up to date on all the education he was receiving. And about a year and a half ago, it's kind of an interesting tie-in to this story here. About a year and a half ago, my father came home to watch my daughter, Elizabeth, his granddaughter, graduate from high school, Attleboro High School. And while he was up here, he thought he had the flu. So he went to the doctors, and they withdrew his blood, and his white blood cell count was off the charts. And the doctor was worried that he may have leukemia. But wouldn't you know it, that Dr. Patel happens to be a hematologic malignancy specialist who works over at Mass General Hospital, who just came over from Chicago to now work as a doctor in the proton lab over at Mass General Hospital. I quickly got on the phone with Dr. Patel and told Dr. Patel what was going on with my father, since I've known Dr. Patel since he was in the 7th grade. Dr. Patel opened up a bed for my father at Mass General Hospital and was part of the team that gave my father a bone marrow transplant, and literally, by the miracle of science, saved my father's life. Now, you want to talk about the impact, you just as a teacher, right? You think about the impact you can have. Who would have ever thought, looking back over 25 years ago, that little boy in my class named Chirayu Patel would one day save my dad's life? That's just, in my mind, it's a wild twist of fates, and I'm forever grateful for him. So I told Chirayu Patel about what I'm going to talk about tonight, and he said, well, you have a very storied past, and you've changed a lot of lives for the better, Scott. One of them was mine. And the announcement I want to make is that after 25 years in education, I am retiring from education on my birthday, August 26, 2021. I have a job lined up in the private sector. We've been able to accomplish tremendous things so far as teams. It's a storied past that includes people like Dr. Patel, but many, many other people that have also benefited from our work together as teammates and from us as individuals. So I just want to make sure you know that no one thing you do can ever be measured in the future, because sometimes you have no idea how it's going to come back and impact your own personal life. So I've been very, very pleased at all the things I've been part of here. And so August 26th, the date on the calendar, this should give the school committee the ample time it needs to be able to find a replacement for superintendent of schools for North Attleboro. And I'm excited to say that even though I'll be leaving in August of 26th here, that I was just contacted by the Massachusetts School Building Authority just yesterday. And I have a meeting tomorrow with the town manager, Mike Borg, and we're meeting with the Massachusetts School Building Authority. And what we're doing is, it looks very good for us to possibly receive the funding for a feasibility study for North Attleboro High School. And that, for me, if that can happen, would be literally that cherry on top of the proverbial cake. You know, there was one goal I kind of had before I wanted to leave here, and it was to get another building project done. I had the pleasure of doing the building project at the high school with the science lab, where we were fortunate enough to receive the funding from the MSBA and change the physical structure of the high school, but really have students and staff tremendously benefit from a cutting edge state-of-the-art facility that the science labs can be taught in now. So tomorrow's meeting is, I believe it's at 9:30 with the MSBA. My calendar's not open, but I can't wait to get and sit down there with Mr. Borg to talk about the feasibility study for North Attleboro High School and the possibilities of what the future can hold for us.